It's time to rock and
Just, all right. Have some green tea after this, bud.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and some cough drops.
Oh yeah, cough shop. Those were lifesavers at Comic-Con,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is what we're here to talk about today. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Waffle Press Hangouts. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me today is my co-host, Universa.
Hello. Good to see you again.
You doing good, bud?
Yeah, doing fine.
Okay, cool. We also have a guest today, a returning guest, Felicia Wade, the great Felicia Wade. She does it all. She writes, she acts, she does literally everything. I'm not gonna run down the list. Hello, how are you?
Jack of all trades to you, sir.
Jack of all trades and master of basically all of them. But how are you? What's up?
I'm great. Excited to be here, excited to chat.
Mhm.
Glad I think this should be an annual thing of our Comic-Con recap.
Yeah, it should. Yeah.
That would be that nothing would make me happier because I'm gonna be honest, before we get into the Comic-Con talks and talk about a movie with talk in the title,
Mhm.
going to Comic-Con this year, I was very excited because I love you guys. I have a blast with you guys wherever we are. And I love Comic-Con and going out and stuff like that. But I kind of thought maybe this is like the last year I'll go. Like, not super into what this stuff has kind of been about, but I like hanging out with my friends, and
Mhm.
we'll see how it goes. And then I had like the best time of my life at a Comic-Con ever, and I was like, I could do that some more. Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, this year was the most fun ever. There's some weird stuff that we're going to talk about. Obviously, Gene and I did
Mhm.
um an episode we're both really proud of. I don't want to speak for him, but I think it's safe to say we're both really proud of
Yeah.
talking about the Writers Guild strikes, how that applies to the
Yeah.
SAG strikes that are ongoing. And so there's an air of strangeness with the people that are not usually at these conventions, being like the faces and the celebrities of these brands or motion pictures or whatever. But it was a very good year for like just convention goers, I guess. And
hmm
we'll get all into that. But Felicia, what have you been up to since the last year you were on this podcast?
Um, so many things. Um,
I mean, I know
where
some stuff you can't like talk about all the time, which is fine.
where to start? Well, obviously the strikes have affected me because I am hopefully one day pre WGA, pre SAG.
Mhm.
So this
Yeah.
is the crossroads. So I'm technically not allowed to talk about a lot of things right
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
We can discuss Comic-Con,
Yeah.
but I cannot talk about struck work. And we can also talk about independent companies.
Oh, there you go.
So
You could plead the fifth.
Yeah,
so yeah.
no,
But
you're
obviously doing very proud of my work on discussing film and our team. We've been able to attend more screenings and events. We had a great time during like the FYC events. We got to go to a lot and collab with some great companies that I cannot talk about, but those were a great time. So good things,
no,
all good
there's been
things.
very good things, and I
Yeah.
want to shout out discussing film, not just because I've worked with you guys on a couple articles too, but just because the headlines on these tweets
Mhm.
regarding strike related news is
Mhm.
the saltiest out of any news outlet I think I've ever seen, and rightfully so. It's very impressive. Like one of my favorites is, rather than going back to the negotiating table to give a fair deal to writers, the studios are beginning to consider terminating some of their first look and overall deals with writers as soon as Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or, and this is a more complicated one because it's not just the strike that affects this movie, but it's a favorite tweet of mine now, is
Mhm.
Sony says they are considering multiple dates for Beyond the Spider-Verse, depending on how long the strike lasts. Of
Yeah.
course, if they gave writers slash actors the fair
Mhm.
deals they deserved, this would be sorted quicker.
Who writes
So
these tweets? Who writes these headlines? I want to know.
It's a mix of our um creator, Jacob.
Mhm.
and of course, one of our dear friends, co-owner Andrew Salazar. So there you go. Obviously, it's a complicated time for us because technically, as critics and journalists, we are free from technically what's happening with the strikes, but also we're an entertainment news outlet. So this is kind of like the marrying of both worlds. We want to stand in solidarity, but we also have a job to, discuss news with people. So this is kind of like, we will share the news, but also we stand in solidarity with what's going on in the industry that we love and care so much and have worked in. We've all been lucky to work at one point or another in the film industry or do internships and stuff. And someday might do more work, or this might be our only work. Who knows? Who's to say? So better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. Who knows if movies will exist anymore? Who knows?
Who knows? It's a fun time.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, it's very uncertain.
Yeah. And again, of course, very necessary, uncertain times. But yeah, just fucking pay people. That's what it comes down to.
The strike's been very uncertain.
Yeah. And obviously this is a even bigger issue that we have seen in our country that we currently live in, and a wonderful pandemic that we all collectively experienced, and we're able to be at home and realize, like, hey, there is more to life than work. We work to live. We do not live to work. So it's just about time that some overall systemically that there needs to be change and people need to be paid a livable wage. And the inflation is crazy high, so no one can afford anything right now.
Yeah, the rent is too damn high.
Yeah, I was kind of planning some more trips this year because I've people who know me and follow me on social media know I've been kind of hopping around a lot this year, and I'm not in danger of no longer being able to do that, but I'm also like, maybe one more trip instead of 3 this year. You know what I mean? Like I better take it easy just to be safe. Nothing to be concerned about, thankfully, but got priorities now and it's like bills and shit. So
there goes your Antarctica trip.
I know. Yeah, I was really looking forward to the penguins. So that's a joke. I actually used to have a very deep-seated fear of penguins, but that's a story for another time. That's real, by the way. That's not a joke.
They can't fly. They can't fly.
No, I'll just tell the story right now because we could just switch over to talk to me in a second. So I had a dream. I was at my preschool. It was like 2 years old. It's like one of the first memories I ever had. And I had just seen Jurassic Park. This is essential for this story to make sense. And I was talking to my friends at by the swings or whatever, the jungle gym. And they're like, oh, there's someone new we want you to meet. And I was like, okay. And I waddle on over and I'm like, oh, hi. And it's like an emperor penguin, the one with the frills on the side and stuff like that. Right. And it's like, oh, hi. I don't remember exactly. Like, you must be Diego or something. Oh, I have a present for you, but it's in the back of my throat. I was like, okay. And then it opens its mouth and it's like, gotta go deeper. It's like, put my head all the way in and there's a pair of red eyes looking back at me. And then it rips off my head like a toy, like a Lego. And then I woke up. This is real. I'm not making this up for a bit. It was terrifying.
That's a very detailed dream. I wish I could remember mine, but I never do.
Yeah.
That sounds horrifying.
It was a real problem.
A lot of analogies, or
I didn't do well with like
trauma there.
Yeah. What is the let's unpack your dream.
Oh God. I don't know. I'm not a superstitious person. I'm not into like astronomy and stuff like that. But I would like to hear what like a dream interpreter would say. I probably wouldn't believe it for a second, but I would like to hear if someone could possibly interpret that like in some like intelligible manner. Because for me, my brain's just like, oh, I saw Jurassic Park and I probably saw Penguin, and it fucked me up. Like I didn't do well when March of the Penguins came out. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's your subconscious. There's something more. It's not just the penguin. Like there's a bigger fear at hand.
fear of the unknown, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, could be that.
Maybe I
A
should
lot of-
get one of those ceramic hands from
Mm.
the
No,
Talk to Me
nope,
and just
nope.
I'll figure out what the deal is here. I'm gonna say talk to me, and then
Mhm.
I'll say I
Nope.
let you in and do the head thing, and yeah, let's talk about the new horror film Talk to Me, which
Mhm.
again was not produced by A24. It's just being distributed by A24. It was directed by Michael and Danny Philippou, also known as the Raka Raka guys from YouTube. I didn't know them as that. I found out I do slightly. I'm familiar with their work slightly because of the crazy Ronald McDonald sketches, like that infamous GIF or that infamous video clip of the Ronald McDonald like screaming at a high pitched voice and slamming and then punching
Oh.
someone's face, which is very funny out of
The
context.
GIF.
That's
Yep.
them. They did that, and then they made a really scary movie. Felicia, what did you think of Talk to Me? Unless you can't talk about it, I just
No,
I'm
I can't. I
trying to
can't
get
talk.
through all this
That's
stuff.
no, I can talk about A24.
Okay.
It's great because they
It's good to
are
check.
an independent company, and if those who are listening have heard the news, A24 has matched what the actors and writers are asking for. So good on them for doing the bare minimum. So
Appreciate that.
SAG has officially given the green light for A24 to continue what they're doing, promoting their work, and to continue filming whatever future projects they have. So good on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's something.
But anyways, A24's Talk to Me messed me up. As we
Oh.
talked about, it is about a ceramic hand that some teenagers find, and apparently this ceramic hand has a connection to the dead, and if you let a demon spirit in you, you can talk to them or have them speak through you. I've experienced a lot of loss this year, so it was extremely relatable. I related to the main character. She was experiencing some grief with the passing of her mother, and it hit home. And also it was very scary. The jump scares, some of them were predictable, but they kind of like went in a way that you didn't expect it to go. So even if
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I see a shadow and I know something's going to come out of the shadow, it still like messed you up because you didn't know like exactly where it was going to go. So they took some classic horror tropes, but they still were able to make it fresh and exciting for those who love horror. So I loved it. I think it's a 5 out of 5 for me.
5
Ooh, wow.
fingers. Out of 5
Yeah.
fingers.
Gene, what did you think?
Oh yeah, I also I also saw it early that week, and yeah, I was very impressed by it. It was, it felt like a really, real like thought out like film, because it's like, when they're talking about, like where the hand comes from, and it's like, well, we know, but in the movie it kind of like tells you a little bit, so it's like feels like there's just so much going on. The visceral nature of it was really creepy, just like the whole thing, you felt like a little unnerved. And also, yeah, like I like the sort of the characters, the tone, like it was like they were kind of mean spirited, but like not like uh like they didn't have, they had depth to them, so that was cool. But yeah, it was just yeah, I really appreciate it. It reminded me of Evil Dead. I know they're getting that a lot, but I think that's a compliment.
Yeah,
That's a huge compliment. Are you kidding
Mhm.
me? Evil Dead is, you know, or you don't like Evil Dead, Diego?
no,
You're
no,
making a face.
I love Evil Dead. No. I
He
just
loves Evil Dead.
I
Yeah.
love Evil Dead, and I see the Evil Dead comparisons. I I don't really know what else I'd compare it to like off the top of my head, but
Oh,
it's
I
nice
guess
to see what it
it
like the comparison
follows
there. Like
a little bit. Like it
it
A little
follows.
follows.
bit of follows. I think it's
Yeah,
good that we can't think of a lot of comparisons
yeah,
Yes,
it
because
yes.
feels
that
very
means it
fresh.
truly is its own unique thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it really does feel very fresh. I think this is much better than it follows. But
Yeah.
that's a whole other conversation, and I'm not trying to start shit on the internet anymore.
Mhm.
I'm growing as a person. I'm
Yeah.
trying to. We'll see how long that holds on to. But yeah, I thought this was terrific. There's like one thing that's kind of been bugging me since I saw it, and it's not a plot thing, it's a casting thing. I'll just get out of the way because I really want to praise the shit out of this movie and the cast, and just like top to bottom, this is a killer movie. If you love horror movies and you haven't seen it yet, like you should watch this. Because like I don't think the directors come out of the gate like fully formed, you know? Like you watch Michael Mann's Thief and it's like, oh, that's like the template of his whole career. Like it's right, it's all there, right there. These guys I don't know yet, but like you can just tell they just fucking love this shit, and it's really infectious. I think it's very mean spirited, actually, but not as a negative until like it's, you know, the movie is sort of a metaphor about like addiction and peer pressure and drugs especially, and so it's just it's a little. I've seen some criticism that's kind of made me think about it more too, that the black lead of the film ends up suffering a lot, and I think I could understand someone saying like it's a little too brutal, like with the casting, with that, with the decisions that are made in the writing of the film. I think it makes it feel a little nastier. But again, it's just something I wanted to bring up. It's not like a hang up for me, even. It's just something that kind of bothers me in hindsight a little bit. And I don't think it was like malicious or anything like that. It's just like they went for the best actor for the job, because the actor is great. She's terrific. I should have pulled up her name already before I started talking about this movie, because she's really amazing. But yeah, this is a banger, as the kids say. Sophie Wilde is her name. Sophie Wilde. Keep an eye out for her, because she's like incredible as the lead of this film. And I think the Evil Dead comparisons really come with the camera work, because you're doing like, you're like, just here's a fucking jib, here's like, the possession, and they say let me in, the camera gonna fucking flip backwards, here's the back, we're gonna slam this guy's face into that, we're gonna push in over here, here's a rack focus, here's the split diopter, here's a Dutch angle. I'm like, this is my shit. I never want a movie to look normal ever again. You know. And like I see the Hereditary comparisons, because it's, you know, it's also about like grief and stuff like that. They're very different films. I don't think they're that similar. I think Hereditary's this is gonna sound like crazy, I promise, but I think Hereditary is a little funnier. Which is I know
like dark gallows humor.
It's very dark gallows humor. Not that this movie's trying to do that either. So again, I'm not positioning them. I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to other stuff, and I don't want to do Talk to Me a disservice, because like it really does stand on its own as like a fresh new voice. You know, like I'm really excited to see what these guys do next. I know they're lined up to do Street Fighter next.
That's
their next thing.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, like I'll watch that for them. You know, I don't give a shit about Street Fighter.
It seems like they really like Street Fighter. Is my impression.
I mean, they're just really good at filmmakers. Like from this alone, you know, like I don't, like, who cares? I just want to see them like fuck people up for 2 hours in a movie theater, you know?
Or
maybe like an hour and a half.
Well, hopefully they don't get stuck in like a studio trap.
I hope so.
That's the unfortunate. You have indie filmmakers, and then they do a big blockbuster, and then it either goes great or it goes bad, and then they never make anything again after. So
they suck them up. Andrew said that Ari Aster came up to them after the screening.
He did.
And like, this is the best movie I've seen. So that's a good compliment. That crazy Ari Aster.
Ari Aster's a good director. People don't like him on the internet, but
he's a sick person.
No, I don't think he's sick. I just think he's very I think as an artist, you kind of have to be very open about like your own feelings about stuff. Not every artist, as we've discovered, some people are very good at hiding shit about themselves, unfortunately. And I don't think Ari Aster's like a weird dude. I just think his art's weird. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what's your relationship with your mom like? And if he was like, oh, it's great, I'd be like, bullshit, you know? But like, I don't think he's like a weird bad person. I just you know, he's honest, I guess, in his own way. I don't, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to say about Talk to Me. I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but it's I think everyone should go watch it. It's
Mhm.
frankly a little strange that it came out in July. I think this would have been a killer Halloween movie.
October. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're seeing a common thread of Haunted Mansion came out this
Mhm.
week as well. That
Everyone
should have
forgot about that.
also come out in October.
Mhm.
And this is a curse that Disney has done before. Is
It's just like,
they came out with Hocus Pocus in 93, and it also came out in July. It had
oh
a
really?
July release and
I
it
th-
was a flop.
oh shoot.
So,
Yeah. I mean, that's
and now
you
it's a
know.
cult classic. So I think we're seeing a trend. I don't understand why you wouldn't
Yeah.
release a horror movie or anything at least
Spooky.
near Halloween. Could be in September.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't understand. Like people
I
are in the mood to watch these things. It's
yeah.
summer. People are on vacation or enjoying the beach, or
They don't.
people want popcorn movies. They
Yeah.
do not want to watch something horror. And it's
They
not like a bat. I'm not like bagging on the movies itself. I'm wondering why studios are
they
distributing these movies during
they
these times. It makes
yeah.
no sense.
They just don't think like we think. They don't live on the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
I feel like it's not even like a complicated ask. I feel
No.
like it's just common sense at this point. Like,
Yeah.
hmm, it's fall. Like Starbucks. Why does Starbucks release a pumpkin spice
Spice
latte
latte.
during October? Like, why do they do that? I wonder why. Maybe because people want
Mm-hmm.
the taste
They
of fall. Crazy, right?
yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. But I don't know.
No, I mean, it just reminds me of something like Bros that came out last
Oh,
year,
bros. Yeah.
which is like clearly that's a
That was
Valentine's
good.
Day. That's a Valentine's Day release, and it's like, oh,
When
we're
yeah.
releasing it in September. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah. I
would you
forgot.
do that?
Bros should have also been a summer movie too. That was a great time.
I
I
still
don't
haven't
get
seen
it.
it. I've heard it's good though.
I've
It
not seen it. I like Nicholas Stoller a lot. I think he's a
Mm.
really underrated comedy guy. So
Come
I'll watch it
on,
eventually.
guys.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on.
Need to
I'm
see
sorry.
the bros need to see the bros
I just
on the screen.
look. I was busy catching up on my Apichatpong What is Ethical cinema. So
Okay.
if anyone hasn't seen Tropical
Guys,
Melody,
please.
you should watch Tropical Malady.
Uh-huh.
Uncle Boonme, who can
Oh,
recall his past lives, excuse me, not remember.
I think I'll see bros instead.
No, he's the best.
All right.
Martin Scorsese endorsed him, so he's the best.
All right.
All right, but
Uh,
he wasn't at Comic-Con,
all
so
right.
I won't talk about him
Who
anymore.
wasn't at Martin Scorsese?
Martin Scorsese, yeah,
Has he
yeah.
ever been at Comic Con? I mean,
I don't know.
we'll segue into Comic Con, but like, as any of his movies warranted, like okay, Hugo, could totally see that at Comic Con.
The Departed is kind of a banger.
Departed.
Like The Departed is a crowd pleaser, in
They
my
That is a
opinion.
crowd pleaser for sure.
yeah, they
Yeah,
had him, Matt Damon, Mark Wahlberg, and Jack Nicholson at Comic Con.
yeah, but they can't have them do lines from the movie because it's the most repulsive. Like there's like
Mm,
5 slurs a minute,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you can't do that.
Is
You
there
just have them
any?
talk about their history or something.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's any Scorsese movie that could be at Comic Con? Oh,
Yeah, The
the
Departed.
Killing of the Flower
No,
Moon. Killing of the
No,
Flower.
no,
none of
that's such
them.
a
None of
fucking
them.
dark, depressing
Mhm.
tale in like human history. Like you can't show that at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Good
You
lord.
think he would enjoy himself at Comic Con though?
No, he'd be like, I want to defeat all of this, and he'd be right to do so. Actually, no,
Yeah,
he might have
probably.
enjoyed himself more this year though,
Oh yeah, I
because
could see him going to the vendors and buying some pins or I don't know. Him and his
No,
daughter.
I don't see it.
I don't see that. I just said I
All
could
right.
see him there.
He's on TikTok though.
No, his daughter's on TikTok, and
Yeah, yeah.
she is
Get it
playing
right.
a pivotal
Mm,
part in
mm.
like the longevity of American cinema by
Yeah.
capturing her father and uploading him to the internet. I'm not even joking. I think what she's
Preservation, yeah.
doing, yeah, she's preserving like art
Uh-huh.
and history with
Uh-huh.
that.
Sure.
Like
I
I
think so.
no no I know you think I'm bullshitting. I'm dead serious right now. I think it's so cool and so funny. Um,
Mm,
I
all
stand her.
right.
I don't even follow her on TikTok. I'm on TikTok only because Twitter is like dying, and I need people to
X.
pay
It's called
attention
X
to
Or
my,
now.
it's
my
not, it's
stupid
not Twitter
takes.
anymore, it's X. Get
It's
it
I
right.
know. You know, you and Gina are the only two people I've heard say that, even like as a joke. Like
Mhm.
the only two people. Andrew and I yelled at Gene the other day because he called it X. We're like, just call it Twitter. Like it's still Twitter. It's gonna go back to Twitter.
Oh, look, it says on the phone
Oh,
X.
Look,
I
it's
still
X
have
now.
I
Yeah,
still have the bird. I still have
the
the bird.
bird. I still have the
I
bird
have
too,
the
thankfully.
X, unfortunately.
I still have the bird. I'm not gonna
You have to
update
put
it.
your hand behind it.
Oh, there you go.
See? Yeah. I still have the bird.
Bird
Everyone,
up.
yeah, bird up, bird up.
Lucky you.
All right.
Yeah,
I
I was
just,
gonna
you
say
know,
he loves the
oh,
X
you go,
Men.
Gene.
He loves Speed Racer X, right? He just I don't know.
What?
What
Elon
was
Musk.
that
What?
tangent?
No, I said Elon Musk. He just likes all the
Oh,
X
Oh.
theme stuff. Yeah.
yes.
No, I think he's just like he never grew out of like being a teenage boy. You know what I mean? And it's like when you're a teenage boy, you're like you want to look cool and hip, so everything's
Yeah.
got to be like black. You got to wear
Yeah.
black all the time, and it's like you got to have stuff with X in the title is really cool. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's simple and sexy
Sure.
and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
that's what a
Sorry.
teenage boy thinks, not a
Yeah,
human
yeah.
adult.
No, I know,
Not
but
a 50-year-old man.
not a 50-year-old man.
he's a
who's-
father. Get
He
it
has
right.
like 5 kids, 7
Ugh.
or like
I don't know how many
7
kids he has now.
7 secret children hidden across the globe.
Oh
Oh
God.
gosh.
Anyways, none of this has to do with Comic-Con. I don't know why it's so
No.
hard for us to segue into Comic-Con.
Well, we kind of did.
I mean, we were there, and then it got pulled back, and then I
Oh,
tried to
okay.
keep taking us back, and it kept
All
going.
right.
It's fine. It's fine. This is
2023 San Diego Comic-Con, the 50 something annual Comic-Con.
is that real? That's how many years
know.
it's been?
Felicia, I know it's like
Uh,
50 something.
we're past 50.
We're so
Um,
unprepared for this today.
I know. We're so sorry.
Thank you for joining us today.
Mhm.
This
Thank you.
is a treat.
Yes.
No, but I mean, the one great thing about Comic-Con this year is that the vendors
Mhm.
were like they were popping off.
Yeah.
It treated them very well, at least many of them. All the panels. Oh, this is like the big thing for me because I love going to the smaller panels because I never really check out like the Hall H ever.
Yeah.
Last year I just did it for the John Wick thing, which was awesome.
Mhm. That was a good panel.
But it was great. But you know, it's like usually I'm just like, oh, who's talking? It's the guy that voiced Samurai Jack. He's at a panel. I can just walk in there, get out of the heat, listen to one of the greatest voice actors in human history. I couldn't do that this year. I couldn't see anyone at all. Every panel was filled up. So if I wasn't there
They
an hour
were filled
early,
up.
Mhm.
that was it. So I mean that's great for them too. Honestly, I'm just
Yeah.
I'm bummed for myself because I used to just be like able to stroll into these places. And the one place we could all stroll into without any problems whatsoever was Hall H.
Hall H, so big.
I know.
6,000 seats, and we took up most of them.
6,500 is max capacity,
Oh my
and there's
God.
150,000 attendees. So you
Mm.
can imagine.
It's the first year I've been to San Diego Comic-Con, and I've not seen a line wrapped around like the convention center. There was no line. I've always been anti-line, honestly. Also, though,
Yeah.
so
Obviously.
I'm happy for this because I'm like I don't think people should have to destroy their bodies to see something that they might not even like when they see it.
Yeah.
In 2 years,
Or
you know
get
what I mean?
in. Or get in.
Or you just get
Like,
in, yeah.
Because it's like you've been there where you've waited for Hall H for particularly Marvel, and it's like you have to like wait overnight, or sometimes they give out the little wristbands, right?
They started the wristbands. There were
Okay.
not wristbands before, and there were years we were camping out for 2 days.
Yeah, you've been
straight,
doing that for a
so
while.
we can get it. Yep.
And let me
Fun
be clear.
times.
There's no judgment of anyone that does that. I just think it's been like I think it's ridiculous that they basically make people do that, and then oftentimes they'll like hold on to the footage and stuff that they show in Hall
Well, they
H.
don't they
Mhm.
don't make people do it. It's
Yeah,
the
you're right.
fans.
You're right.
It's the fans, unfortunately, who created this culture before you were able to, line up the day of for Hall H and can just go. But the issue with most convention panels is if you're in the room for a panel, you're not kicked out of the room after the panel. So for people who want to see maybe a Marvel panel at 5 p.m., people are going to get in when that room opens at 10 a.m. and they're going to sit in there till 5 p.m. to watch the Marvel panel because they can never be kicked out of the room. So that's one of the blaring issues is the room's not cleared out after a panel. And if you're waiting for the next one, you're not going to get in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So sometimes even for the days Marvel is there, people want to see a different panel, but they can't because it's packed and people are sitting in there all day. So issue 1. Issue 2 is the fans are the ones who created the line culture because they were so excited the year that Twilight first attended Comic-Con. There was no camping out for panels before that, but because our dear Twihards were so excited to see Twilight's first appearance at Comic-Con, they decided to camp out the night before to get in, and that was the first time the room had ever like fully filled up like that. And then it set a precedent for the future years of Comic-Con to, if you really want to be in there, camp out because everyone else is going to camp out.
That's that. You did like an oral history of that. That's
I've been going for a lot of years. I've been going since 2008. I was 13 years old. I wore a Joker shirt. My Comic-Con ticket was $10.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's crazy. So you've been going like, way earlier than me. So it's just like amazing. It feels like you're like back in my day.
Back in my day.
Just like, we could afford education or housing. Our Comic-Con tickets were $10.
No.
Yeah, and just show up, and just show up and walk into panels and stuff. I remember one year I went to like the Scott Pilgrim panel and it was like walk-in. Like literally I looked at the time it started and I was like, okay, it was like the last panel of that day. So it was probably like 6 p.m. or something. I was like, okay, that's when it starts. And I just like showed up like when it started and just found a seat. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, must have been fun.
Yeah, the first time I was able to do that was this year. And you know what? It was fun. It felt very cool to listen to Gareth Edwards, Justin Simeon, and Louis Leterrier talk about movies.
What a bunch.
And Louis Leterrier, my boy from the Dark Crystal TV show, which is excellent and everyone should watch it. It's the best thing he's ever done. Again, the Dark Crystal is the best thing he's ever done. Yeah. But I'm a big fan of him. This keeps happening because last year Tim Miller was there. And I've not hated any of his movies. But I don't like, Tim Miller's directing something, I gotta watch it. Yeah. But hearing him talk, he was so passionate and funny. I was like, I like this guy. Yeah. Same thing with Louis Leterrier.
It made you like them and want to explore their work. Yeah, so that was one of the panels we attended was directors on directing.
Yeah. That was a good one.
It was. And the only person who was more excited about Gareth Edwards, the creator, than me was Louis Leterrier. He left the stage to watch it in the crowd with the audience. Also to use the bathroom, but the crowd thing was intended
then
to
they all had to use the bathroom.
That was a very exciting moment in the panel. In all my years and all my panel watching, never have I seen all 3 panelists get off stage because they all had to use the bathroom at the exact same time and like run into the audience to hit the bathroom and then stay in the crowd to watch the trailer and then run back on stage. So that was a pretty cool Comic-Con moment that we'll probably never see again.
Yeah, they'll be like, all right, use the bathroom first.
Yeah, no, I'll say like
that was a long panel too.
Yeah, it was. So. I'll say like if someone has to go to the bathroom and you're on a panel, like just go. It's okay. It's just a panel. It's not that important. Your bladder is more important than the panel.
Well, they are paid to be there, Diego, so they are contractually obligated. It's not just like for funsies. They're the big guys. They're paying money to save that panel slot, and then they're also paid by their studio to be there to speak. So it's like, going on your lunch break at a job when it's not, you haven't hit your 4th hour or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
Unfortunately.
Fine. I encourage everyone to take bathroom breaks anyways on
Yeah,
the
this
panels,
isn't
It was
especially
for
cool.
for
It was a
it's
Nolan.
not
great
for
moment.
me.
It did not deter the panel for anyone. Everyone was like, hell yeah, go to the bathroom. You know, it
It's
was
like
a great
pee.
relatable moment. You know, it's like, oh yeah, people, they're just like us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Here, no, no, go ahead. I was just gonna ask you guys what like other highlights of the convention were like this year for you. So go ahead,
Oh,
Gene.
sure. Oh no, I was just gonna hype up the creator because we saw a clip of it. I don't think it's even online. We saw like 5 minutes or something.
No, it's not online yet.
It's
Yeah,
not online. Yeah,
no.
it looked great, amazing.
The
Like
monkey has
shot
a
on.
detonator.
I was gonna bring up it's like the moment where the monkey comes out with the detonator. Someone has like a pet monkey that's gonna blow up a bridge, and he pushes a button, and then he blows up a bridge. I was like, yes. Everyone was like losing their minds. So it
That
looked
was
amazing.
an iconic moment. It
Hmm.
reminded me of the monkey in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh
That's what
yeah.
Captain Barbosa and like takes the coin from Captain Jack and then he like runs back and then he's like, "Oh, like that was very good, Jack." And he's like, "Oh, you're welcome." And he's like, "No, I named him the monkey, Jack." Great moment.
We need
It
we
is a
need
great
like we
moment.
need like more stuff like that in like
We need
movies.
stuff with, I mean, not just monkeys, but any
Yeah.
animals. Animals doing cool tricks and stuff. What happened
Animals.
to animal actors? Where are their rights?
Well, yes, they haven't had a good
I know.
track record. Yeah.
It's a one. I know. There's a fine line between animal cruelty
Yeah.
and
But
animal training and
we
stuff.
need
But animals are so cool.
we need the idea of that, like weird stuff, you know, make things like, I don't know, non-generic. Yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway, Comic-Con
But the creator,
highlights.
yes,
The
the
creator.
creator.
it looked really
The
good.
creator.
Gareth Edwards knows what he's doing, so
He
exciting stuff.
came out of his slumber to make this movie,
I think he was
hibernating
just. I
like
think he was just
Godzilla.
in like development hell constantly because like he had mentioned there was. I'm sure the panel's online by this point, but I'll just say it for
Mhm.
people
Yeah,
listening
it
to
is.
this without context. Like he's talked about how he was maybe working on some adaptation of something else at one point, and it's not quite shelved, but it's not happening now. And
Yeah.
so he's like he casually just pitched this idea he's been working on for a couple years, which turned into the creator. He was like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
got this one idea, and I had blah, 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 blah," right?" And they liked it so much, they're like, "Yeah, just do that," which
Yeah.
is
But
which is cool. And then of
yeah.
course now it's out there that he shot it on the Sony FX3, which is a camera the size of a normal pro consumer grade camera. You can pick it up at Best Buy for like $2,000 or $2,500 for the lens too. Like
Yeah.
that's okay. That $2,500 not like it's not nothing, but it's for a camera to make a movie on. It's pretty freaking amazing.
Pretty
Um,
extraordinary.
yeah, I'm really excited for that. I hope this movie works. I hope this movie's a hit because of that. I want to see more people get like really creative and hands-on
Hmm.
with you don't need like a big red camera or like the Ari or something like that, It's like we have technology to make stuff now without like the need of big studio backing, And the creator does have big studio backing, but it's
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
the general idea of like you can literally just make a movie right now. You can start doing that. Like it's
Yeah.
that is here now. There's no longer a question of when. It's like now, which is really really cool to me. And so I hope the movie works.
I
I
hope
think
so
that
too.
was the most exciting thing I saw at Comic-Con. So I also didn't really see many other panels, but
Oh yeah.
we went to the
Well,
Adult Swim thing.
it'd be remiss of us to not discuss that we got to see our friend Dorian Parks
Mhm.
moderate a panel for Spider-Man 2. That was one of our highlights, getting to support our friend on his first huge Hall H moderation. A pretty big deal. And the panel was great.
Mhm.
I have not played the Spider-Man game. I've seen my cousins play it, so I've sat and watched them
Mhm.
play it. But Spider-Man 2 looks really good.
Yeah. I think you would
Yeah,
like it.
you have to play it. You have to play both of them because they're great. They're
Okay,
great
I will play.
games. And yeah, you're right. That panel was fantastic.
Hmm. Moderated well.
Dorian supersedes Gareth Edwards because real life friend, obviously.
Hmm.
But
Aw.
uh, yeah, he did a great job in that panel. Was really exciting.
It was. Yeah.
Tony Todd, I feel like he was like really happy to be there, and because like he's
Mhm.
got big theater kid energy, but like he's just, I mean, he's a legend. You know, he's a living legend of an actor.
Yes.
And he just brings like a real gravitas to it, but not like in a way that's like different or shunning any of the other actors or artists that were up on that stage. And shout out to Yuri Lowenthal, the voice
Which,
actor
yeah, for
of
Peter.
Peter Parker, who like I was kind of curious, like, are they going to mention anything about like SAG or WGA right when they're getting introduced in succession, as the camera's like passing everyone by, introducing everyone. They're about to pass Yuri, and he's like, I just want to say one thing, and he goes into this big monologue about supporting SAG and WGA. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, that's my Spider-Man right there.
Off the cuff, yeah.
Yeah. And
That's what
Yeah.
Spider-Man would do.
I guess they were told not to mention that. And he did it anyways. So yeah, that's the boy right there.
Like this
Solidarity for
dance
Peter
too.
Parker. And he did the Spider-Man 3 dance. Yes, everyone loves that. I love it. I'm
Yeah.
just, you know.
And he was dressed like in the Spider-Man 3, like
yeah.
black suit,
Oh
type,
yeah.
like his own spin on it. So
Yeah.
that was
You
really
know what?
fun. As
That was
well.
really cool because the black suit and like
Mhm.
a black suit and tie, by the way, everyone. But then if you look closely, there's the little Venom insignia
Yep.
kind of stitched into it. That was really cool. I don't know who designed that
fits.
for him, but good job. Good job.
They did great.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
then
that was a fun panel.
It was
Yeah.
great. Yeah. I cannot wait for
I
that
was
game.
also trying to make it to as we discussed, there wasn't many panels, but all
Yeah.
the smaller panels that were already still happening,
Oh.
they were filled up. So I was trying to attend a panel that was voice actors and also discussing the impact of AI and synthetic
Hmm.
voices and the financial implications of episode order reductions and the line where union protections end and where federal or even international law may need to step in. So I was trying to attend that panel. It was very early and the room filled up like that. So that was really sad, but I was very excited after that panel. I like waited around and I got to meet Duncan Crabtree Ireland, who is the SAG-AFTRA National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator. So that was very exciting to get to discuss with him, and very exciting that he attended Comic-Con to kind of discuss where we're at now with the strikes and for him to get the message out there of what SAG is seeking.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So that was a Comic-Con highlight for me, and getting to talk to them and get to show support for everything.
Yeah.
no, see, that's better because Gene and I are just like geeking out, like, oh, that was cool with the Spider-Man, and you're like,
Spider-Man, yeah.
here's the breakdown of workers' rights and why it's important to fight
Mhm.
for them. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
I
that's
think
probably more important.
it is part of it. We're allowed to geek out. You know, we
Mhm.
here are like geeks first and foremost, and like it's what we discuss, it's what we love and stuff. And like the overarching is like, you know, the things that the creators of these things that we love and the actors that are in these things that we
Mhm.
love, you know, are fighting a bigger fight. And
Yeah.
you know, it would be like remiss on us, like for not to mention that all these things we talk about, you know, there's a bigger team and a bigger scope behind it. And recognizing that we're recording this episode during this like tumultuous strike time.
Yeah. It's gonna be for a while too, so we're doing our best to navigate it. But you know, it's always good to listen.
Yeah, and I mean, like Gene and I are starting to talk about episodes for the rest of the year soon, basically, and it's like, you know, we're not a big platform. We don't really get paid to talk about any of this.
Right.
The podcast pays for itself, and
Yeah.
we kind of just use it to hang out with our friends at this point. But
Yeah.
and maybe interview directors we really admire. Not to pat myself in the back, but you know, like we're probably not going to cover a lot of the bigger movies coming out, frankly. And they might not even come out, so maybe we won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
Yeah.
think the best way to move forward is like definitely honoring where the strike is at now, and moving forward, maybe covering, yeah, like more independent stuff and
Yeah.
even like world cinema too,
Mhm.
and like kind of
Mhm.
dive into anime or, you know,
Oh yeah, no, I
Yeah.
I
Japanese
got a list.
films
I get
and
I
yeah.
get
Anime. Yeah. Anime for sure. Talk
well,
anime.
I'm gonna start bullying everyone in the podcast
Oh, who
for
doesn't
watching
like
anime.
anime?
No, it's
Don't like.
it's an old joke that I used to bug people about watching anime, and now I
Okay.
like anime, so I'm just as bad as everyone else.
Yeah.
But
We're
speaking of world
yeah.
cinema, I could start talking about the Beast Cop franchise starring Don Lee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gene knows that one.
Yeah. I was
Felicia, you
like, it
know the
kind of
Beast Cop
caught me off
franchise.
guard. Don Lee.
Oh, and you can also talk about animation. Animation is SAG gave the
This
okay
is
that animation is okay to promote and talk about. So
Oh, I
that's
didn't actually know
exciting.
that.
And they
yeah.
also gave the okay to discuss anything that's like theater, Broadway and stuff. They're in a different
Okay.
union. So you can also shed some light on that or even do a dive on like um movie adaptations like for
Yeah.
musicals. Like Back to the Future is about to hit Broadway this fall.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I saw a lot of things, advertisements for that in England. Back to the Future, the musical, which is like,
Yeah, it started on the West End and now it's coming to New York in
I
the
love
fall.
that.
So, and
It's
they
like,
did like a really crazy promo for it. Like
mm,
it showed like Marty's shoes at the beginning and
oh
it
my
like
God.
seemed like he was like flying into the theater and I was like that was a good promo. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
only
I
heard
mean,
good things about it.
yeah. Yeah, or we could, yeah, we're workshopping this as we're recording.
yeah, no, literally,
What
like
to,
right before we're like,
yeah, I
should
mean,
we talk about
Great.
this?
I'm glad that we're, you know, you're kind of letting your listeners into the process
the
and maybe
process, our
open up
headspace.
to suggestions and stuff. Like, should everything be made into a
Yeah.
musical? Probably not.
Not Evil Dead, the music.
No, Evil Dead should have a musical movie at this point. That's the
Evil Dead
kicker.
has a musical,
It had the musical, yeah. I was referring to
and it
that.
was great.
It
My
was
friend
good.
was in it in Las Vegas. It was a
Mm.
great time. And the first front rows had a splash zone for blood.
Mhm.
Wow,
Yeah.
I want to go to that.
I
Yeah, it
want
was
to
a
go
great
too.
time. I went twice. I loved every moment
That's
of it.
awesome. Yeah.
And we were not told about it, so I'm not going to hold that against you, but I am
This is
slightly disappointed.
years ago since I even knew you, Diego.
Mhm.
This was
Okay,
like
okay, all right.
2014, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a bit
Yeah.
ago. That's fine. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's plenty of other stuff to talk about. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, we're still doing the retrospectives, also failed blockbusters coming at you sooner than you think.
Yeah, well, we could talk
Nice.
about old movies. Yeah, old movies.
Yeah.
Or we could just talk old TV shows. Just talk about Succession or
Talk
something.
about Succession forever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Gene to watch Righteous Gemstones as God is
Oh
my
my God,
witness.
you have to. That is an incredible show. You're
Oh my
missing
God,
out,
you watch it
Shane.
too? I didn't know that.
Of course, I
Well, I
grew
don't
up
know.
in the church,
Oh.
so it's
I'm
very
sorry.
relatable.
I'm
I know.
sorry.
I mean, wasn't my choice. I supported my grandparents to go to church every week.
Yeah, like
And you
I'm
don't get much
also
choice as a child if you
Yeah.
want to go to church. And every week I would cry and be like, I don't want to go to church. I hate it there. I already have
Yeah.
hindsight.
yeah, I had a similar upbringing. Not as intense as some other people's, as I've heard, but
Yeah.
Mexican Catholic raised, and then I was even an altar boy for a little bit, and then
Oh
more
no.
stuff started coming out about priests being monsters, right? And then
Uh-huh.
after that stuff started coming out, my parents were like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to after all. And I was like, okay. I didn't know that was the reason, but as I got older, they were like, yeah, when that started coming out, we were just like, it kind of changed their perspective. So
Oh.
respect
Oh.
to my parents for not
Yeah.
Go
for being
parents.
decent at a certain point. Not that they
Yeah.
were dicks before, but you know what I mean. Just like a
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, but
Exactly.
Good on them. Good call
Yeah.
for them.
yeah. So shout out to
Well,
mom and dad.
side tangent. But anyways, that is a hilarious show. It a lot of the topics touched in the show, great on the writers. It is exactly accurate to some of these big mega churches that they call, and kind of the business side of things and the discrepancy on how much money the church makes. It's fun. It's a good time.
It's really incredibly written and acted. Somehow Danny McBride became just this incredible auteur over the last decade, shifting between comedy and drama and the Halloween trilogy and now Exorcist. I don't know what the fuck. That dude's got the sauce. I love Danny. I'm a Danny McBride truther at this point. Like, if he has his name attached to something, I'm gonna check it out. Like, that's how much I like his work. Except Halloween Kills, but that's fine. Whatever. I don't know. I feel like we were a little off the rails already.
Yes.
Are there any? Which is fine. These we don't have rails here. We we tell people we do, but we don't.
No, not really. No.
Do we have any final thoughts on Comic-Con? Any future endeavors we want to highlight for ourselves, or just looking back on it? Like, how do we feel about Comic-Con this year as a whole?
If I could go first, I really appreciated how, because it's like how creative it got, where it's just like there was stuff that, because it's like it's gotten to this point, like I hate when people are like, oh, it's gonna be about the comics again. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but it's like it's also just people, like, just for lack of a better word, like fans or just people that enjoy like just a lot of like pop culture things. But I appreciate how creative it got, because it's just like, well, it's like, like for one of the things they had for one of the events, they had like a K-pop band. It's like I never saw K-pop until now, and I'm like, oh, kind of like it's pretty interesting. I don't know if I'd be a fan of K-pop, but like, I saw a K-pop thing. But yeah, no, I thought it was just like, it really made like the experience a little bit, better, where it's like not everyone's like rushing or, trying to get in line somewhere, where it's like everything didn't seem as like jam-packed and like, like Hall H, like you need to go to Marvel, because I'm sure for you guys, for discussing film, where it's like, you kind of feel the grind a little bit, the grind of like, need to cover this panel because it's like Marvel, and it's like, yeah, it felt a little bit more like laid back. So that's how I kind of felt on that.
I'd agree with that. It felt very laid
Yeah.
back. Yeah, I mean, I'll just get mine out of the way and we can end with Felicia. I really had the time of my life this year. We all met a lot of really cool people that hopefully we able to keep in touch with, and some people have even mentioned like moving jobs and locations to be nearer, unrelated to meeting us. It was just like, oh, how cool, like we'll be able to actually not just keep in touch, but actually get to hang out in real life, and that's always a cool feeling. I mean, I feel very lucky that I met so many cool people through the internet, through Twitter, right? That's basically how I have like half my real life friends at this point. But it was just such a great time. Some of us stayed in the same place, and it was a real treat, just like kind of getting together every morning and every night. To the point where, like, I'll be honest, like last week going back to work and stuff, I woke up and I was like, I miss my buddies. My buddies aren't here. I got my cat and my dog, but it's like I was like, oh, I gotta go to work by myself. That's kind of a bummer. But yeah, no, it was such a great time. Everyone was really nice this year. Like, even people I didn't like get to know, just people like I was taking pictures of cosplayers and stuff like that. And I always ask. I don't like kind of like photobomb in someone or something like that. But everyone was so welcoming. Like I took a picture of like someone who was dressed as Ray, and they were like super excited that I asked to take a picture of them. And they I posted on my Instagram. They were super sweet. Give them a follow. And they wanted like it to be like emailed and shown and everything. It was great. It was great. Everyone was so great this year. And this is a much lighter note to end on. I went to the Voodoo Ranger ship with Gene on the last day for just a little bit, because we were our last day was what we call the side quest day. Every year there's a side quest where we all kind of do our own thing. Last year I was by myself on Saturday. This year it was like Gene and I just met up randomly, and then we went to the Voodoo Ranger ship, and So speaking of Pirates of the Caribbean, Felicia, it's like we got to do that like first thing next year because that was really cool.
That was a nice
And
show.
frankly, I never wanted to leave the boat, but it was the last day there, and I didn't want to make you all wait for me before the drive back home, so I went. But
No, you're fine. You're fine. It was good you went. You're allowed.
They're
Thank
gonna
you.
have to like fish you out of the water.
I know next year I'm gonna be like face down. Where's Diego? Just face down in the water. Just 20 beers in.
Voodoo Rangers are like trying to get you out.
I know. Felicia, any final thoughts?
Yeah. It was obviously a different year. Usually Hollywood has a bigger presence at the convention, and they still had a presence with things that were clearly set up before the strike, posters of shows and some just like some promo, but not really. But it was still a great year. Hollywood doesn't have to have this like gloomy presence. It's still at the end of the day a convention for fans and for fans to talk about things. So it kind of like reinvigorated kind of even the smaller panels. There's over like 900 other smaller panels, and they all saw a rise in attendance. Usually, like we said, those rooms are empty, so it was kind of nice that it returned to the roots of like attending these like fan-led panels and like getting other voices out and other people getting to see that. And for some of our vendor friends, it was an exciting year for them. People saw more foot traffic on the exhibit hall floor where a lot of independent artists are and other comic book vendors and stuff, and they saw an influx in sales and all that. So that was really cool to see and like experience. And it was, like I said, different year, but also still a great convention. And it also gave us more time to kind of hang out and like do other things outside of the convention. Usually I'm stuck in panels because I have to cover those panels and write about them and all that good stuff. So it was kind of nice that got like a little bit of a break from being stuck in a room with 5,000 other people all day. And instead I get to see what's outside of the convention, get to go visit some of my vendor friends and support their small shops and stuff. So overall, pretty good year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we did it. I feel like we're still coming down from the post-con like
Oh,
hangout.
I know.
Yeah.
I
A
do.
little bit.
I do. I know. It was a great vacation too. I felt like this was, at least for me this year where I've had some travels, this felt like the most vacation. It was like a nice break from real life. Like we really did enjoy our time there. It's bittersweet.
It's like nerd summer camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. With more alcohol. But also
recovered our
I
voices.
shout out to everyone who enjoyed the Shout House. I really like that bar in San Diego.
Wish I could have went.
I know next year, Gene.
I was too tired. It
was fine. Yeah, I'm gonna drag everyone back every year now because it's my favorite.
Yeah, it was a good time. We went to a dueling piano bar, and that was probably a highlight as well. So got to experience more of the gas lamp area because downtown San Diego is beautiful, and kind of the biggest sadness is like we don't live near San Diego, so we don't always go, and we go for this convention, but we don't actually get to enjoy San Diego. So it was nice, that we got to like enjoy more of the downtown area and like see what's around and go try other places to eat. Bars. So that was really nice to like sit down and actually have a meal. That never happens. We're usually running a Subway and then running back to our panel and like eating in the panel.
Oh, jeez.
Sad. Sad times.
Well, I hope that doesn't change for you guys. I hope like the newer experience, being able to settle down, and I'm sure next year things will be better. The strike will probably be over by next July. I'm optimistic about that. Maybe not the end of this year, but that, by that point next year. But I hope you guys still are able to take the time to go enjoy yourselves without having to be locked into a panel or covering this thing. And because I was like the only one not working the last time we all
Oh,
went, and it was
yeah, I
nice
was
to have
looking
a
too.
company.
Yeah.
Also, I
You
know
just
poor Gene.
yeah, working
Just
from the
locked up.
hotel room.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it's there's a better balance in the future for all you guys because yeah, it's a blast. It's a blast. Felicia, thank you so much for joining us again. Where can the
Aw.
people
Thank
find
you.
you on social media and all your wonderful mastery of all trades?
They can
Cool.
find my personal endeavors on Instagram and Twitter at as told by Felicia. And you can also support my other job just because you film. I think it's rude. Don't have to really. It's exactly that username on all platforms. We're on everything. We have a TikTok now.
Oh,
We're trying to do that. Trying to
Yeah.
get into the.
have to
We
follow
don't
that.
know exactly what the people want on TikTok. It's a new platform for us. We're used
Yeah.
to just sharing words and news, which is great, and reviews and exclusives and all that jazz, interviews. But yeah, video, where to go with that one. But we're trying. We're doing our best.
No, you guys doing great. Gene, come on, follow them, bud. Keep
I
up.
didn't know there was
Yeah,
this
get on
TikTok.
the
Come on,
TikTok. We're
man.
on TikTok now. Exciting things. And we're
Of course.
Instagram's trying to launch their
Threads.
version of Twitter Threads. We're on Threads.
Yeah, I've seen the threads. Yeah.
Just trying to keep up with everything.
Mhm.
That's very
Crazy.
hard as a
Oh,
social
are
media
you guys
coordinator.
are you guys on Blue Sky too? I just got into Blue Sky. Shout out to friend of the
No.
I don't know
show,
what that
Angie
is.
Han. Okay.
It's like
Never mind.
it's like
Do I have to get on that too? Oh no.
I don't know at this
it's
point.
like
I don't know
the
anymore.
alternative Twitter, but Threads is
Great.
also that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not the not Threads Twitter.
Yeah, so we're on
So,
Threads.
Yeah, links down to all that stuff below.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gene, they know where they can find us. I feel like we don't have to
Yeah.
outro ourselves.
I'm on
You know,
I'm
if
on
you follow
Threads.
this, you
Yeah,
know where
follow
we
my
are.
Threads. You could follow me there.
I'm not
Ready?
on Threads. I'm gonna be a grump about it. And
All right.
yeah,
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. Yeah, that's the message of Wolf of Wall Street, that he was right to stay there. He made every right decision, and that's what I'm gonna follow through to the end.
Yeah. I was more referring to, there was like a skit on like Courage the Cowardly Dog where it's like Eustace, he's just like in his chair and like all this stuff is happening
No.
around him. Like he's getting like there's a tsunami or there's like fire and he's like, I'm not leaving this chair. Nope.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I
no,
feel-
that's more like me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like on Twitter. It's like, nope, not leaving Twitter.
Again, thank you, Felicia, for joining us. Thank you, Gene, for being my co-host. Thank you, everyone,
Yeah.
for listening. Thanks to everyone who's just keeping on out there. All right, take
Mhm.
care of yourselves. Like and subscribe. If you didn't like this episode, like and subscribe anyways, because you might find something you do like. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional. Bye bye.